So here we are, cruising across to the Hebrides, which is exciting. 9 knots on the quarter. It's not cold, is it? I have definitely learnt. Put clothes on before you're cold with Scotland. If the sun comes out, I'll be hot. But once you're cold, you're cold. Closing in on the Hebridean coast. We are about 20 past 4. 17 knots of wind on the quarter. The sail from Canna was calm, but in the last half a mile the heavens opened and the wind howled. We spent a wet, windy, restless night at anchor, and in the morning we jumped in the dinghy to try and make peace with this Hebridean land. First steps ashore in Loch Skipport, and we find the detritus of man. This is the salmon farming business for you. I appreciate salmon as much as the next man, but it's a shame to see the raw muck that goes with the industry on what I was naively thinking would be a virgin like Hebridean island. But there are no virgins here.
Point the camera at yourself.
There is something very intriguing about the countless derelict cottages that litter the land around Scotland and the Hebrides. The mystery of it all draws me in, and I can't help but think of a time when a family would be huddled round a roaring fireplace, sheltering from the cold winter outside. As Asher has heard far too many times, I always fantasise about spending such a winter in Scotland. All we need to do is to find a suitable dwelling, and I guess one with a roof would be a good place to start. Time for these houses has run out, as time always does. Sometimes we don't appreciate that it is marching on, but it always is, and it never waits. So let's chase after it and catch it and make the most of it while it's still there.
Welcome to my kitchen. There's my cooker and my frying pan. Look, the floor is a little bit messy, but it's only Saturday afternoon. Let me clean it. We are just in the middle of refurbishing the house, so we are changing windows. There was a little bit of a Barney for my birthday last week, so never mind that. Here is our saloon with a fireplace. A little bit shitty at the moment, but let me assure you, it's gonna look grand. Structurally sound, the roof made of asbestos. It's gonna be fine. Nobody lives forever, so don't worry about it. Here is our fabulous bedroom here on the left. As you can imagine by the state of this place, a lot of action is happening here. Here's a bathroom, quite well equipped with a toilet and a sink.
You do have the best garden I've ever seen.
Yeah.
When it's nicely kept, if you know what I mean.
Show.
In the nicest possible way, and despite her best efforts, I've explained to Asher that I don't think she has a future in the property sales business. From sea level, in hard rain and strong wind, it felt pretty tight manoeuvring in here amongst the rocks. During the windy night, I spent a fair amount of time awake, paranoid that we were too close to the island. But from this vantage point, you can clearly see that there is loads of room all around us, and with the anchor dropped into thick mud, I really didn't need to worry.
Hello, little woofer.
Can you sit? Give me a paw, roll over.
Maybe a foot.
You're not telling me that's a horse. Stop kidding me, this is not a horse, it's a dog. Aren't you lovely? We did the right thing, jump in the dinghy, get on a mission, and now I feel like we've made peace with this ragged part of the Hebrides, and now we're going to sail out with a smile and a feather in our cap.
Yeah, it's a very desolate place, but so worth seeing.
So after being well and truly roughed up on our way into this place, it seems that one trip ashore had made us fall for its wild, rugged beauty. However, despite only arriving the day before, we had a plan to leave. Since arriving in the anchorage, we hadn't had any mobile phone coverage, and neither could we pick up any VHF signal to listen to the forecast from Stornoway Coast Guard. We knew there was a gale lurking, so we decided to make some progress north. Our original plan was to cruise 3 miles further north to Sandwick. We picked our way through the narrow channel, appeared in front of the dock, clicked the engine into neutral and had a look around. There didn't seem to be any good mooring opportunities for us, and to be honest, it all looked pretty scruffy, so we clicked the boat into gear, turned round and hightailed it out of there. Instead, we headed 12 miles further north and had a lovely evening cruise up to Loch Madday. By comparison, Loch Madday was an absolute treat, and it was great to be there. Good morning to Loch Madday. Mooring so close to the ferry terminal was great. Put simply, if it floats, then I'm fascinated. 911, 912, 913, 914. Oh, that'll do today. That'll do.
Are you knackered?
I just can't be asked to do my normal 2000, to be honest. The next morning we had a reminder of how small this world really is. The last time I saw this motor yacht, she was for sale on the River Crouch in Essex. Built in the 1960s, she really is a thing of beauty. Someone else thought so too, bought her and she disappeared, and I felt sure that I'd never see her again. So imagine my surprise at stepping off Altor of Down and seeing her moored in front of us in the Outer Hebrides. We sheltered on this pontoon in Loch Madday while 2 gales blew through in quick succession. A third gale was on its way, but we spotted a small window of opportunity, followed the ferry out and continued north. Today we have left Loch Madday and we are northbound for Stornoway. We've got a big gale coming in tomorrow from the southeast. A force 9 is expected, but we've got a bit of a gap. We were promised a force 4, decreasing later. We haven't seen anything more than a 3 at the moment, and we've only just got a 3. But we've got the sails up, the engine off, creeping along at 4.5 knots. If the engine isn't going, then things are good. Well, the wind is being very naughty today, really. She keeps coming and going. Whenever there's a bit of drizzle, the drizzle comes through and the breeze goes. And then we wait patiently, doing 2.5 or 3 knots, and then she comes back again. And now she's back on the beam, 5 knots, doing well. On schedule, everything going according to plan.
I decided you're not a fat and I made you to.
Thank you very much indeed. With a good breakfast, we continued north, and the topography changed and looked more like the Scottish Isles we had left behind. Lawyer unfazed. 4G still running, obviously.
Absolutely.
Good. Does 4G get the jibbing?
No, you get the jibbing.
We could have the jib on quite a bit more, but we won't bother because we've got plenty of breeze here. We're going on the right course. What a cracker of a sail it is coming up here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really good.
We've eked it out in sort of 7 or 8 knots against the tide, and now the tide's turned, the wind's piped up, and we've now got 6.5 knots, 7 knots to windward. Lovely. We've only got to keep this up for another couple of hours if we could, and then we're going to be 4 miles shy of Stornoway. And actually, as we come round the coast, it might get a bit close, but we're good. I mean, this is lovely, isn't it, now? And it's mild. I know it's not hot, but it's 12, 13 degrees, which is not bad. We'll take that, won't we? Stornoway Port Authority, Stornoway Port Authority. This is sailing vessel Altor, over.
Nimbus calling Stornoway Harbour. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, sir. This is sailing vessel Altor. Permission for us to enter the harbour was granted, so in we went. Returning to Stornoway felt quite emotional for me. I find it inexplicable that my heart can belong to so many places in Scotland, but Stornoway has its share too. As a young boy, I always noticed Stornoway sitting right up at the top left of the television screen during the forecast. Stepping ashore in Stornoway for the first time 3 years ago felt very special, and it was no less special this time. So good to be back. A short walk north of the harbour rewards you with spectacular views. The vastness of the Minch and a gale on the way made us very happy to be in Stornoway's marina. In this rugged landscape of almost constant wind, it's great to see the utilisation of green energy. This is a good work in progress for the Scottish Islands, and whilst some of them are entirely self-sufficient on green energy, here on the Isle of Lewis there is still some reliance on the old school diesel power station. We've come down here to the front at Stornoway to look at a memorial for the steamship Dyalla that ran aground on the 1st of January 1919 at 1:55 AM. She was carrying 280 naval reservists returning from World War I. 201 of those people died, 79 survived. This centenary memorial was set up with stakes outlining the shape of the ship, 79 for survivors and 201 for those who died. It's meant to be lit up. It's meant to look quite nice, but unfortunately it isn't. No one's paid the electricity bill, so all we can see is a couple of blank posts in the water. Do come along Stornoway, let's turn those high street shop lights off that burn brightly all night and turn this on instead. By the cute fairy tree in Stornoway. I don't know who decides it's a fairy tree, but someone has. And now it's a shrine to fairies. First of August?
Yeah.
Today? Blimey. I didn't know that. What are you thinking when you say that?
No, today doesn't feel like the year is, rolling to the end. Now it does.
Really? That's pessimistic, dear.
No, it's not pessimistic, it's time is flying.
It is, time is flying.
The flowers are really tasty. They make a really tasty tea.
That sounds wonderful. I think we're going to walk into town, so I'm going to go into a shop and I'm going to buy a very cold bottled tea that goes tsh when you take the top off. But you enjoy yours, won't you?
I will.
Well, here we are, 25 to 5 on the Friday evening. Here comes the crew. And we are 25 minutes away from pushing off. So here we are, sailing away from Stornoway and a little piece of my heart. This time we're not just saying goodbye to Stornoway, we're saying goodbye to Scotland and the United Kingdom. Our heads are spinning from all the new destinations that we see, but we can't stop now. We have a weather window and an opportunity to reach our most northern destination for this trip. So please join us next time as we forge north, bound for the Faroe Islands. We hope you enjoyed this journey with us, and if so, please stay tuned for more. Altor out.
Boo!
Frick.
You're supposed to be singing, I'm supposed to be dancing.
What on earth is that? 201 naval for a ship called the Dyalla. Now on the New Year's 1919, the steamship oh mate, just go away. On New Year's Day 1919, 1:55 AM, the ship Dyalla.
Oh god, 11.
I mean, they're at least outtakes, aren't they?